Let's start. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of CX Speaks, powered by Verbix.ai, where we explore the precision leaderships in the age of AI, how CX teams performs with data-driven coaching. Now we are delighted to welcome CX leaders, technology experts, and business decision makers who are joining us today. First, Saurabh is more on service delivery and business growth leader with over 20 years of BPM industry experience, worked with the companies like iEnergizer, Converges, WNS Global Service, Concentrix, and TTEC, driving operational efficiencies and technology enabled transformations to maximize customer experience. He is also currently working with the HINA Group, a California based company specializing in market research and contact center solutions, catering to both public and private sectors, companies in the education, healthcare, and life science space as a consultant. So, service delivery and new businesses growth is more in it. So, welcome, Saurabh.
And it's the Henny Group because it's after the owner, Mr. Jeff Henny. So that's his company, and like you said, yes, they are mainly into market research, but they're also diversifying into contact center solutions, and they specialize in working very closely with the government companies as well as private ones. So it's the Henny Group, and like you said, it's a California-based company, and I'm really excited. Because I'm working as a consultant and advisor to them, helping them, grow their current book of business, helping them with new possible business ventures, and so I'm really excited about that.
Okay, that's a very vast experience you have. Thank you, Saurabh. We are delighted to have you with us and look forward to hearing your insights. So now also we are joined by Rahul, seasonal technology leaders with over 15 years of experience delivering CRM solutions across SMBs, MSMEs, and large enterprises. Rahul has led CRM initiatives for global organizations, including Ashby, Tech Mahindra, and the Tata Group. Leveraging this deep CRM expertise, so now he leads Verbix.ai, an AI-powered conversations intelligence platform, and that transform the customer calls into actionable CX and business insights. Welcome, Rahul.
Thank you so much, Urvi, for having me in this webinar. And I look forward to have a deep conversation with Saurabh in this podcast.
That's great. Thank you, Rahul. We are delighted to have you with us and look forward to hearing your insights. So now we're going to start with, now we are already set the content. Now let's dive into our first theme, AI and leadership synergies. So AI is no longer just a tool for reporting. It's becoming a strategic partner in how leaders think, decide, and coach. I would like to explore how both of you experience this shift from your unique perspectives. So, Saurabh, you have led large CX and BPM teams long before AI became mainstreams, right? So, I have one question. How do you personally integrate AI insight in your daily leadership rhythm? And whether it's decision making, coaching, or performance reviews?
Sure. Oh, no, absolutely. Urvi, this is a very integral part of my day-to-day job, my core responsibilities. I've been part of the BPM industry for more than 20 years now, and I've seen this industry operate at different levels. I started off at the grassroots level, talking to the customers face to face. Been an agent who was taking calls, working on chat support, on email support. So and then I've risen, over a period of time, moved from an agent to a supervisor, from a supervisor to a manager, from a manager to a senior manager, and then to a leader. So, I've experienced this industry at a different level. So I know exactly, how each level operates, thinks, and the challenges that they look at. Now, in a service delivery environment, you have to adopt AI as a real time intelligence layer across demand forecasting, workforce management, and customer experience operations. On a regular basis, I mean, what I do is I rely on automated or AI driven models to synthesize interaction datas, uh, queue dynamics, because something which you got to take care and track on a regular basis. Take care of handle time variance and customer sentiment to surface leading indicators. Just data itself does not go ahead and tell you the whole story. You got to be able to go ahead and identify what everything, when everything comes together, what does it come up with. When you were talking about leading indicators, you talk about the different emerging call drivers. What kind of staffing risks do you see? Because in a contact center environment, staffing is key, as well as are the customers experiencing any degradation in their experience while trying to get in touch with the company or getting their solutions. So before they show up, we got to be able to identify those indicators from an operational standpoint. I mean, this is something which is very close to my heart. I feel that AI informs this it helps to help us make informed decisions around intraday staffing adjustments, skill-based routing optimization, and as well as prioritization of defect reduction efforts. For example, predictive insights help identify when the volume spikes are likely to exceed forecast, which queues are at risk of breaching SLAs, or which agent behaviors correlate strongly with our customer satisfaction scores. So these insights allow leadership to intervene earlier and more precisely. And just to go ahead and what I would say is this approach using AI helps us to be more proactive leader rather than a reactive leader, because we already have the insights, and AI helps us to go ahead and identify the trends and derive insights, which by looking at the normal data will not be that simple.
Interesting. Do you think has AI changed the speed or confidence of your leadership decision?
It definitely does. It definitely does. I mean, like I said, I mean, AI, you have to go ahead and take AI into account as a support, rather than a replacement, because ever since the existence of AI, when it came into even as a concept, it's been asked several times. It's There are multiple viewpoints to this. I mean, and how you use AI is up to you as a service delivery leader. Do you want to just go ahead and replace it with everything that you have worked and you're built your base on, or would you rather go ahead and use it as a tool which will go ahead and increase your capability to be able to go ahead and and be a much more effective leader? So that's what I feel.
I have one thing, to Rahul. The many leaders are excited about AI, Rahul. So, but also the cautions, right? So, I have one question to you, Rahul. What are some common misconception leaders have when they first adopt AI-powered coaching tools?
Okay, so there is many misconceptions. One is like, before leader wants to going to use any tools, they always feel like AI will kill their job, or AI will replace human, or AI will replace themselves by even itself AI. So those are all the misconceptions, because AI will not going to replace anything, but AI will going to provide certain information quick and easy for them to take certain leadership decisions, right? So even coaching will require trust, empathy, and conceptual understanding. So AI helps surface insights faster, but human do a real coaching. So coaching will be done by human itself because AI always goes from the data which is available in the market, right? So it will not come from the brain like human can do this. So it's really a misconception that AI will, replace the job or replace the coaching or training or whatever.
Mhm. So, where do you see leaders underestimating or overestimating AI's role?
Yeah, it's a certain cases like sometimes leader hesitate to use AI tools, right? So they thought like, okay, AI sometimes those kind of tools which they are going to use, they just underestimate. Okay, this AI cannot do this kind of stuff, right? But it's AI can really do this. So these are all the misconception with the leaders where they cannot go with certain AI tools, but they have to use it because they have to cope up with the market demand.
So, there is an interesting debate is around AI and empathy in leadership. So, I have one more question. I'm little bit curious to know, Saurabh, I have one question for you. Do you believe AI helps make leadership more human by freeing leaders to focus on people, or does it risk making leadership more mechanical?
That's a
Well,
that's a great question.
that's a good question and a very typical question, because uh like what Raul was talking about, being AI making you more, mechanical, or it all depends. I don't feel that AI inherently makes leadership more mechanical. It does not. Like, because AI alone, you got to understand the basis of AI. AI itself learns from it gathers millions and millions of data points, and learns from that. And along the way of learning, there are questions that also what humans input to AI. AI will AI, there are lots of models for AI, and then which actually go ahead and generate solutions for you. But one needs to understand the key is the question that we ask AI, the support that we are looking for. You know, there's a misconception. Oh, we will go ahead and implement AI. We will go ahead and bring in this tool, which will go ahead and do everything for us. Okay, the tool has got great capabilities, but if the tool does not have the correct data or the requirements defined, it will not be able to go ahead and give you the answers that you're looking for. You need to understand, I mean, we go ahead and we make mistakes when AI is treated as an authority rather than as a tool. Leaders, the most effective approach is a hybrid operating model. AI can be responsible for signal detection, pattern recognition, or scale, where humans can be the ones that can go ahead and work on towards the empathy side, the emotional side, because that is what we are going to go ahead and ask. I work very closely with ChatGPT. I work very closely with Claude. It's the questions that you ask your AI tool. It's was what you're gonna. If your questions or your prompts are not comprehensive, it will not go ahead and derive the results. So using the tools will actually help you to become a more seasoned and a better leader, where you will be able to go ahead and spend more time with your team to go ahead and coach them and talk to them as a leader and talk about their growth, rather than be something that a phrase that we use on a regular basis in the industry, firefighting. Because every single day in operations and service delivery, there is firefighting. Every day we are looking at the volumes. Oh, they're much higher than we expected, than the forecast. Oh, our attendance is lower than that was expected. Our absenteeism is high. All of a sudden, our attrition numbers have gone up. So if we do go ahead and put in the correct information and let the AI learn from our past, leaders will be able to go ahead and have more meaningful meaningful conversations with their employees and have more and be able to help the employees grow, let their teams grow. And so you got, like you said, you have to go ahead and understand how you want to leverage AI. So and still be a leader. So it's a combination. You got to understand where the human line stops and the mechanical line or the automation line starts. But you got to understand human interaction and human contribution is very important.
So
Yeah.
the next question I have for you is like, how does Verbix.ai helps leader understands the why behind performance metrics, not just the what, especially in customer conversation?
Okay, thank you for the question. I can give you a broad answer on this. So basically, AI came into the picture like, in 2022 or something, right? When ChatGPT involved the first version of that LLM. But AI was way before that, like decade before when we were, in engineering, we had books for artificial intelligence, right? So it was there, but it was not evolved at that time. Then how it is, right? So basically, for us to, build this Verbix.ai, considering like, we work with the large organization, a lot of CRM companies, CRM customers, and all those things, and we identify the common problems because we work with the contact center and CX organization and identify that, post-call QA was challenge. So as I mentioned earlier, AI was not replacing the job, but it's redefining the outputs for the end users, right? So what we did in a Vertex.ai is just providing the insights of the conversation which is happening between the customer and users, users to users, the sentiments and their positiveness in the call, negativeness in the call, for leaders to take certain decisions based on that, right? Because if we ask post-call QA person to, listen the call and provide the feedbacks on the call, there may be a human mistake. So that's the best example which we set for using the Verbix.ai, specifically, the CX and contact center industry where there is a huge call volume every day, there is a calling is happening and also building the speech to text technology with the AI involvement is like, for me personally, I can say it's a game changer for, CX and contact.
Yeah. So, thank you both. That was a great perspective on how AI and leadership can truly work together when applied thoughtfully. Now, next, move from strategy to execution and talk about precision in practice. Examples of how AI is improving team performance and customer experience outcomes. So now that we have talked about the synergies between AI and leadership, let's get practical. Like this next segment is all about precision in practice, real examples, real outcomes, and how AI actually improves team performance and customer experience on the ground. So, Saurabh, you have lead large CX operation where data is everywhere. So, which metrics or AI signal do you pay the most attention to? And which one do you think leaders should be cautioned about because they can sometimes be misleading?
I mean, there are, when you're going ahead and looking at metrics, there are a lot of metrics that you should be going ahead and it's tracking of data, because it cannot be that you have data which you're collecting on a one-time basis and then you stop collecting it, or because that does not give you the correct picture. I mean, when you're talking about which metrics, you should be going ahead and tracking metrics from the perspective which help you to identify your performance as leading your It should be, the tracking of the data, and the you can say the interpretation of data should be diagnostic, and more than that, it should also be actionable. So if you are going ahead and collecting data, what insights you're driving from that, it's actually helping you go ahead and look at it from a long-term perspective. I mean, the most valuable signals that you get are the ones that actually help you go ahead and explain the performance shift. Why the shift, why the change is happening, why are, when we're talking about quality scores, why are our quality scores going down, or is there a particular call driver we're having an issue with? Why are we seeing our attendance going down? Is there an issue that is prompting our attendance to go down? People have, our attrition numbers are going up. Is there a reason why people, I mean, looking at data, okay, this month we lost, or you can say this week we lost 2 people, last week we lost 3 people. Those are just numbers, but what are if you got to be able to do as a doctor, you should be able to be, it's like I said, diagnostic. What are the symptoms? What are the results? What are the reasons? We need to pay close attention to leading indicators such as, staffing risks, queue instability. Is it going ahead and burning people out? That's a concept which is very, very, very prominent in the call center industry. Agent burnout, employee burnout. We're talking about inaccurate staffing. So is it because we have not been able to diagnose the issue correctly? That is what actually we need to be able to find out. And there are a lot of indicators which are diagnosed incorrectly. So we need to be able to go ahead and define. We're talking about customer satisfaction scores. Customer satisfaction scores is not just a customer metric. It is a reflection of how your team is also performing. I mean, I worked with in the last 20 years, of my career, I've worked agency, or you can say a travel industry leader. It was if you would have heard of Virgin Atlantic, the owner of Virgin Atlantic, Sir Richard Branson. I mean, I remember there was a very he said there was a very profound statement he made when I remember when I joined one of my companies, and I was supporting Virgin Atlantic as a client. And I was watching a video of him, and in which he said, there was a very one liner, but it was a very strong liner, profound liner, which said, you take care of your employees and your employees will take care of your customers.
Correct.
And that mantra actually stayed with me throughout my career. I do not go directly to the customer. It's the employees that actually go to the customers. If you are going to enable them, if you're going to strengthen them, they're going to be the face of your company, and they're going to go ahead and definitely do the job for you. So it's your how you're taking care of your employees is actually the most important factor that is mainly ignored. And we look at the data, we look at metrics which are trackable as numbers, and that's where we fail.
Very insightful sharing you just did. So Rahul, AI provides the incredible detailed feedback, but leadership still requires context and empathy. So how do you balance the algorithm feedback with human judgment, monitoring, and coaching your teams correctly?
Okay, so basically, this algorithm judgment is, as I mentioned earlier, right? Those are not the real judgment which a leader or someone can consider, right? Because uh, in order for decide the next level of the judgment, they have to take into consideration like human emotion, their day-to-day activity, working styles, and all those things. So considering the answer of this question is like, algorithm judgment is just providing a patterns, right? It's not a final decision. So final decision must be under the control of human by using the data of what has been generated from the algorithm. So again, there is not 100%, AI. There must be a human involved. So, I heard from from the Mark Benny of the, CEO of the Salesforce. He still told there is not 100% AI. There is a 50% human or 50% AI, right? Something like that. So it's all about the combination of the things. So we don't have to worry AI will rule the world or something. It's required human to be involved.
Correct, correct. That was my next question. You already same question. Like I was thinking to know about the line between automation and human intervention. So it's already done. Now you know that Saurabh, like data is only valuable when it leads to action. So, what's your process for turning raw AI generated data into meaningful, real world coaching action for frontline teams?
Uh, something which I had said earlier, data is as good as, how you want to use it. I mean, if the data that you're collecting is for the sake of collecting data, it's for, for compliance issues or compliance requirements, or these are customer requirements, but not for the purpose of correct usage, it's a waste. So my process of turning raw data into real coaching actions is something which, probably it's my nature. I'm a very methodical person. For me, it's the key is structured and disciplined. The data that you use for coaching, it has to be structured, it has to be disciplined, and most of all, it has to be human centered. I focus on translating signals, and that's something which I go back to every time. I mean, I don't like to just take one metric or one set of data and just fix one problem. If I can go ahead, and if that data can go ahead and give me solution to more than one issue that I'm looking at, that's my end goal. We should be able to go ahead and derive data. I mean, I focus on translating signals into insights into intent, and intent into behavioral change. So then reacting directly to dashboards. We are collecting data. Oh, there's a Power BI tool that we're using, and we see, oh, the numbers change from yesterday, or we can see daily, weekly, monthly, half-yearly trends. But what are they signaling? And that is what, rather than just looking at a dashboard and okay, we invested in a resource to go ahead and create a dashboard, but unfortunately, if that is not giving us the long-term, signals, how we're going to be able to improve. That's what my intent is. I mean, I just want to give give an example of for one of my clients. We implemented a chatbot for our one of our clients, a retail client. I don't want to name that client because of confidentiality issues, but we implemented a chatbot. The initial intent of that chatbot was to go ahead and help improve our quality scores. But when we actually started going ahead and collecting data and analyzing data, we could actually go ahead and we were able to identify that, okay, this chatbot can not only be used for helping us improve quality scores, but also go ahead and help us improve, AHT. It can also go ahead and help us improve abandon rate. It can help us improve service level. It can actually help us go ahead and improve our CSAT scores. By fixing one issue, identifying one issue, we were able to go ahead and identify what were the other metrics or KPIs that were actually getting affected. So, and the data was in front of us, and we said, if we were to go ahead and use this data, our chatbot could go ahead and help us improve quality scores, because that would give us consistent responses. It would help us get the answer quickly and help us improve our AHT. Because if you're able to go ahead and wrap up your call quickly, go ahead and help the next customer, which would help us improve our abandon rate. If our abandon rate goes down, our service level goes up. And not just that, we were also able to go ahead and utilize that chatbot to help, improve the learning curve for the new people that were joining our team, because that chatbot was able to go ahead and bring in that level of improved efficiency in the new hires as well. So that those new hires, and again, because like I'm saying, it's my thoughts go as a human-centered approach, because the new hires were able to get their learning curve up, their confidence levels were much higher, and they were able to perform much better when production floor. So my process of turning a data into effective coaching actions is very simple. It's got to be human-centered, and it has to be collaborative, and that's how it is. Contextualize the insights from the data that we get. I translate the insights from the data that we get, and then accordingly, we design the coaching sessions, because and so that when supervisors or managers are having coaching sessions, they are two-way conversations rather than a download.
Correct. So, Rahul, as we know, one concern leaders often raise is how AI feedback affects team morale. So, have you noticed any changes in employee engagement since introducing AI-based performance feedback? And what made the biggest difference?
Yeah, so this is really a nice question. So basically, AI definitely increased the employee trust when it's talk about the engagement. Like, often when I, work with our team, I always looking at how I can appreciate them, right? So I have to write certain sentence on appreciation or something myself. If before AI, it took like me 30 minutes, like what I have to write for appreciation, right? But if I write a prompt to AI, it's give me a good appreciation notes, which will help to do the engagement with the employee. Same thing for the HR, right? So they do certain steps before, like everything has to be manual for certain stuff, right? So that has increase the faster response from the HR to the team for certain things. Like they did certain automation in their process as well. Same with the operation, even for the development and all those things. So employee engagement definitely increase, but your intent has to be right, right? If your intent is not correct, then even AI will not going to fit. So yes, if you use AI tool correctly for your employee engagement.
Yes, correct. It's true, Rahul. If we use AI to correct way, if you write prompt and stuff, then AI tool give us a very fast response, and it's very time effective. Less time we can do lots of work. So thank you, Rahul, and thank you, Saurabh. These are a powerful practical insights. And what really stands out is that precision isn't about more data. It's about better decision and better coaching. So with that, let's shift our focus to what lies ahead and explore the future of AI-driven leadership in customer experience. So let's explore some future of AI in CX, where CX and AI-driven leaderships are headed and how leaders should prepare. So now that we have explored how AI is being applied in the CX today, let's shift our focus on the future end. So AI is moving quickly from historical analysis to real-time decision making, from dashboards to day-to-day leadership supports. The big question is, how do CX leaders evolve alongside it? So, drawing from your experience leading large CX operation, how do you see AI evolving the role of CX leader over the next 3 years?
Oh, well, pace at which, Urvi, the pace at which CX environment is changing with the introduction of AI, it's like at a lightning speed. I mean, there are when we're listening to the different AI leaders, when we talk about OpenAI, we talk about Anthropic, we're talking about Meta, Microsoft. People are saying, the way AI is evolving, it is not, when you're talking about 3 years, 3 years is a very long time. I mean, there's going to be a huge environmental change in the next 3 years. We're talking about months over here, because I mean, it is. You should actually be looking for changes over the months rather than years. But over the next 3 years, AI is fundamentally shifting CX leaders from operational overseers to system designers and decision. You can say decision orchestrators. Those are the words I can think of. Much of the today, today much of the time, leaderships is actually spent interpreting reports, dashboards, resolving escalations, reaching to, and reacting to rather performance, you can say downfall. So as AI matures, these activities will eventually get automated, rather, because you will have set templates, set structures for going ahead and creating coaching sessions, going ahead and creating tools. Over the years, what's going to happen is that because automation is going to allow the fundamental piece of, but it will also go ahead and allow the leaders to focus on shaping the operating models, how workflows, how decisions are made, how experience is intentionally designed across different channels. That's what we're looking at. But what I understand is that the biggest challenge that the leaders are going to face is that to get their team to go ahead and accept the technology or the AI use, the importance of AI. It is human to go ahead and resist change, and until you've actually seen tangible benefits. So over the next 3 years, one of the biggest responsibilities of the CX leaders are going to be to getting their team on board, and that's what I'm looking at.
Okay, that's really fantastic insights. Thank you, Saurabh, and thank you, Rahul, for sharing your experience and perspectives today. There are our audience have some questions, so let me
I
share.
think I will pick up the first question. Myself, the question was like, how has AI changed the definition of good leadership in CX? So the definition in terms of the having the good leadership is not only changed by the AI, but the decision which leadership can make by using the AI, right? So it's all about the individual decision by considering the data which AI has provided. There is another question. So there's so many questions people ask. So you can choose any question, and I think rest of the question we can reply back by email or something, because we are this webinar goes a little longer than the usual time. So
I understand. This is something which is very close to. There are a lot of questions. There are a lot of questions that people are, because people are going ahead and getting used to of AI. And I totally understand. This is
because technical and non-technical people are like only speak one word, that is AI, right? So it's not only AI is not only linked to the technical people, because non-technical, even common human beings also affected with this AI. Not affected, but they are related with what is going on with AI. So everyone has questions.
There's a very good question I'm seeing over here, Rahul. It says, how do you ensure AI coaching models are free from bias? And something which we started off, during this conversation, AI will also go ahead and, the different models that are available right now, we have LLMs, we have transformers, we have, generative AI models. Everything, it is always going to be biased, and something which I said at the very beginning, it all depends on the data that we share for our models.
Yeah, correct.
So if you go ahead and put in one-sided data, it will always, your output is always going to be.
Because I recently I experienced one problem, right? Because I'm traveling to Las Vegas to Heathrow, right? question which I asked to OpenAI or ChatGPT, and question which I asked to Gemini, that I should have a transit visa if I, through the Heathrow Airport by changing the terminal. If we consider the OpenAI, their answer is yes, you require transit visa. But in the same question, Gemini is providing a different answer. No, you don't require transit visa because you have a US visa, right? So there is a different answer, different perspective for each and every LLM.
Yeah, I mean, I know exactly what you're, and I've experienced this myself personally, but because of my extensive experience with the travel industry, and I've had client which was a UK based client, but to that same example, I mean, I was traveling from New York to India, and I love traveling with Virgin Atlantic Airways, and again, I did not need to go ahead and change my airport, my terminal. So, but if you go to their website, and again, it all depends where that data is coming from, where the input is coming from. So if OpenAI is going ahead and picking up information from the UK Heathrow website, it will show you that yes, you do need a transit visa, where actually you don't. Because you're not changing the terminal, you're not going through. So it all depends what's the source of your information. And again, that will be, biased, So every model is different, every source of data is different, and that's going to be a choice you will have to make going forward. And accordingly, your output or your outcome of your actions is going to result in.
Question. So I think we can answer to them by email or something. So there's a lot of questions. We are, I think, running out of time.
So to our audience, we hope this session gave you clear, actionable ideas on how AI-driven insights and precision leaderships can elevate CX performance and coaching. Thank you for joining us for Precision Leadership in the Age of AI. If you would like to learn more about AI-powered conversations,